Welcome to Vention Tips. Today, I'll be introducing you to inline programming in MachineLogic. The goal with this video is to teach you how to build cleaner and more succinct no-code automation sequences containing loop commands. With that, let's get started. With the introduction of inline programming, users can now create nested sequences directly inside loop commands. This removes the need to create an additional child sequence originally required for loops, essentially cutting the number of sequences required for these commands in half. A similar result can also be achieved in MachineLogic using state machine commands. If you're interested in learning more about those, you can find the link to that video tutorial below. Shifting over to the MachineLogic tab, I'll demonstrate this on a 3-axis gantry using a pre-built program that we will later simplify using inline programming. If you'd like to follow along or practice on your own time, the design link can be found in the description below. Pressing play, you'll observe that the program functions by directing the system to one of the 4 corners of the workspace depending on which button is pressed. Now, let's delve into the program to understand how this is achieved with standard MachineLogic commands. Under the Sequences dropdown, you'll notice that there are 3 distinct types of child sequences. The initialization sequence, which is a standard practice in automated systems. A move sequence for each of the corner moves, which includes a wait command looking for the appropriate button press. And a check sequence comprised of a single loop command that continually checks the previous sequence. Returning to our main sequence, you can see that these 4 loop commands run in parallel, continuously monitoring the status of our push button modules. Now that we grasped the basics, let's see how this can be streamlined using inline programming. I'll transition to a secondary application with most of the program already built, and we'll fill in the missing sequences together. First, let's add an additional child sequence and label it check near right. This is where the inline programming comes in. From the Add Commands button, choose Add Loop. In the past, you could only loop sequences that were pre-made from the drop-down menu. Now, there's a new Inline Sequence option. Upon selection, a new button appears, granting access to the inline programming feature. Clicking on it brings you to a new window, allowing you to build a sequence directly within the loop command. We'll populate this inline sequence with commands similar to our original program. It will have a wait for command to detect if the button is pressed, and a combined move command to move our actuators. Once our inline sequence is ready, we can return to our parent sequence by clicking on Back to Instructions. If you'd like to edit it once more, you can simply click Open. With the other sequences pre-built, our final step is to create our main sequence. We'll begin by adding 5 execution commands. The first will run in series, executing our initialization sequence. The subsequent 4 will run in parallel, executing our inline programmed loops. With our program ready, let's press play to see it run. As you'll note, this version operates just like the original, however, using only 5 sequences instead of 9. This is the beauty of inline programming, crafting streamlined, efficient no-code programs in MachineLogic. And that wraps up our introduction to inline programming. Equipped with these tools, you're all set to create cleaner, more intuitive no-code programs in MachineLogic. Thank you for watching, and happy designing.